in this session, we're doing something a bit different. So we're coming up with this idea called the Research Rumble, where we've got John McConnell from Analytical People. He's the founder, and he's going head-to-head against Andy Woods, who's the associate professor at Royal Holloway University. Andy's also one of three people in this room who enjoys chaos. So take that what you will. So what we've got in this session is 5 rounds where John and Andy will be battling against each other with ideas. And then what you'll need to do is vote for which idea is the best with each round. And the winner after 5 rounds will win the trophy. No expense spared. Expertly made by Andy earlier this week. So, gentlemen, are you ready?
Ready when you are.
Okay, yeah, we'll just jump in.
Oh, one moment. So,
We know what we're doing.
yeah, John is going to be red. Andy's going to be blue. After each round, you will wave to say which one you like best. I think that's it. Okay, let's go.
Let's go. I'm not enjoying this front row already. I'm starting to rob a band. Is that what it's called, Simon? Okay. And, you know, we said we'd try and sledge each other, but Andy's such a nice guy. I mean, I can't do that. You know. But I did see somebody in my garden with a pair of binoculars earlier. Okay, my first idea, which is not my idea, somebody else's idea, is that we should be doing or using local LLMs more often for a number of reasons. One of which is, of course, we're at risk of giving away a lot of our IP in its various forms to the cloud LLMs that are out there. Even if we've got, you know, enterprise corporate licenses with the usual suspects, you know, there is always a risk. Thank you. I'll sit down. As well, and also, I think it's been a bit of a secret that local LLMs are becoming more accessible and usable and powerful in recent times. By the way, we're going to try and speed this up, aren't we? We're going to try and make it really speedy so we can gain some time. But essentially, a local the most typical way you will use a local LLM is probably to use LM Studio today. Anybody using LM Studio today? Yeah, a few people. Well, yeah. And the process is you can install it locally or you can install it on a server. You can pick a model, and there are lots of models, which is the other insidious thing that's been happening in the background. Often they are Llama and friends, but they are just local versions of those models. You can chat with them locally, privately, securely, and you can also write code against them. So there are APIs. Effectively, LM Studio runs a model, it runs as a server. It's just like talking to a model in the cloud. And this is the bit that I think a lot of people have been missing, that the B, by the way, as I'm sure a lot of you know, represents the number of parameters in billions. So the least powerful models use the most powerful models that are available. But there are lots of models available locally now, and they're more powerful than perhaps you'd expect. Obviously, you need more power, you need better PCs or servers to run some of them as you go from left to right. But I think you'll be surprised how much you can do and achieve with what we already have. So it starts off down here with some simple models, like there's a really simple Quen model, which is what I've been using in the examples I've got here. And that can do really basic classification. It can look at a set of tables and build profiles for you, that sort of stuff. A lot of stuff that I know we're probably using Claude and friends for these days. You get in the middle, and it will do the kind of business analysis that a lot of us are doing. And then if you go really high end, you need to get quite serious RAM and probably multiprocessor, well, definitely multiprocessor, then, you know, you are approaching what you can get out of the cloud-based models today. There's a demo which we'll come back to. You'll have the slides afterwards. You can see the demo. Basically, I'm just setting it up, running it. It reads some tables and profiles some segments. And it does it pretty much as well as ChatGPT would. And that's using Quen, low end, on my crappy PC.
Hello, Andy Woods. I'm into 3D printing TAF and also brains as well. As a brain over here. It's really good fun. And so my very first one is hyper-personal software. And I saw someone wrote a blog about them creating little useful tools for their day-to-day, be it building small business tools or be it tracking meetings, checking the quality of survey responses. And now this is in all of our hands, thanks to LLMs. So here's some that I'm using. I'm tracking my career via a tool which I've made. I'm really bad at the trumpet. I'm an adult learner, so I'm trying to learn sight reading via a tool. At work, we figured out a way of people specifying what's missing from the kitchen. And this is perhaps the most useful for all of us here. This is inspired by Andrew. Next to us, dragging and dropping your files and doing a little bit of crunching on those files and removing, say, outliers. So I'll hand over to John.
We got a vote. So, John is red. So it's going to be a tough call. Raise your votes. Ooh. John. Oh my goodness. I'm going to call it. I think it's red. I think it's red. John is the winner for local LLMs. There's still plenty of time.
I'll put the best one first, though. Okay, next one. Quite a short one. This is about. You can do a lot of stuff in the browsers, as many of you have realised already. You may or may not know that you can run a database in the browser today. So there's a database called DuckDB, which sits behind the scenes, and there's a front end called SQL Rooms. And it just looks like you're using Snowflake or Oracle in the cloud or any of those, except, again, it's all local. It's all on your PC. Your data is secure and private, and you don't need DBAs. You can just upload files, and you can run SQL. And you know what? I might run that video. No, that's not going to do it because it runs really quickly. So it doesn't run as quick as this. We speeded it up, but it's quick. It's columnar. So you can do pretty much any SQL. The other demo we got in the pack is effectively building a schema, building a star schema, just using standard SQL. It's something that researchers and analysts can use just on their own as a desktop analytical tool, and it's also then the basis for developers to come in and build, rapidly build apps on top of the database. Thank you.
Python in the browser. So this is quite a recent thing, and it lets us do things like installing software on our clients' devices, and it's possible via Pyodide and some other technologies, WASM, if I'm pronouncing that right. And so here we have a very angry, grumpy client, and so the client doesn't like installing Python. So instead of having to give them guide them through how to, you can just give them a browser to explore their data through. Here's another grumpy client. And we got an issue of privacy. The clients don't like data ending up in America and in remote servers. So by hosting it online, that's hosting it in the browser at their end is powerful. Last but not least, angry clients don't like paying money. So this is randomly looking a bit like Andrew in the middle. So anyway, by doing it locally on their machine, they can let it tick over and to crunch data on their own gear.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So where are we? Raise your votes. Oh. It's all gone blue. Ooh. So it's all about Python in the browser.
Yay! There we go.
Okay. It's 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. PMML has been around for a while. Some of you might know it. It's a bit like the idea of Triple S. It's a standard for moving models around because we build predictive models. This is going back to the old world of what they call traditional AI now. Where you build models that predict things. Some of us still do that for a living. But it's a standard that allows you to move them. So in the old days, you could write a model in SPSS, export it to PMML, send it to a client who perhaps had SAS or something else, and they could import it and run it. And that's the idea of it. little bit like Triple S, you didn't quite get the buy-in from all the vendors, and models started to get more complex and harder to deploy. So it sort of started to atrophy a little bit. Then in came a company based in Estonia. Andy's actually going to talk about European software later, but what an incredible landscape there is in Europe. This is one example. This company fixed a few of the issues with PMML. First of all, they created a model conversion set, which can export PMML out of most of the modern suspects and most of the more complex algorithms that are out there. So that's the first thing they did. And then they also created little containers, mainly using Java and Java virtual machines, which mean you can then take those PMML models and you can use that as a scoring engine wherever you are. So we can give things to clients that means that they can take things and run things in Excel or just on their desktop or wherever. I did a little example here. We've often run into this in the past when we weren't able to deploy the more complex models, things like XGBoost, where, for example, we might do a golden question analysis. We're trying to predict which segment a new respondent is in from a larger segmentation built from 30 or more questions. Actually, this one didn't work out quite as well. It's an old one that we did, and the discriminant model was 76% accurate overall. The XGBoost was better, but not as much better as I hoped it would be. I should take more time, but never mind. But anyway, it's better. Let's go with that. So the good news is now, when we're in this situation where we want to deploy the most powerful model, and accuracy matters for all sorts of reasons. Often a few percentage points has financial consequences, not to mention the accuracy of insight. This demo here, which I'll leave you with, just shows how effectively you can then encapsulate that model, send it off to wherever the client, the agency, and they can run that in Excel and get a set of scores and segment allocations.
Can you run it on your browser?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
We've never met before, have we? Oh, yeah. What's in Python?
So Shiny, Tidyverse, R's great. I prefer Python for coding day-to-day, but R for statistics is phenomenal. And things have changed from how R used to be. It used to be pretty tricky. The learning curve was quite brutal. But now we got new tools. We got a new pretty pipe operator. And it's become so much easier to turn these pipelines that we can create into dashboards. And so one way to do this is through Shiny apps. You write your data once, you turn your analysis into an app, and you don't need a team to show it on the front end to the client. And here we also have, so users can explore the data themselves. You can explore it with them in an interactive fashion. You can apply filters, plots, etc. And it becomes a shareable, interactive tool for you to explore that data together.
Good. Okay. So I don't know if you can see the themes that we've been applying. That was the let's get nerdy kind of theme. So there's a lot of blues here. I'm getting some abuse online for not registering their event, their opinions.
Oh, they're all red.
Okay. So we just wait 15 seconds, or we just... Okay. I think it's unanimously blue, so let's go with that.
Yeah, it's blue online now.
Okay.
Okay. Number 4 for me is MCPs, Model Context Protocols. Touches on some of the stuff we talked about today, some of the stuff Zolt was talking about, which is as we move more into the agentic era and more into wanting to do not just chats with LLMs, but also have LLMs run tools for us, we need to introduce a level of governance and control that doesn't particularly exist anymore. So what MCPs do is they tie the whole thing together, essentially. They define and govern AI usage so that we can only do appropriate things with appropriate tools. Of course, there's a great risk, especially when agents start playing together, that they go out of control, or that we give, it's an old adage in microresearch, isn't it, that we give, powerful tools to the wrong people and they do the wrong things. And it really underpins agentic AI. So we've got this concept of, a simple survey analysis MCP, and that's what the demo shows that you can look at later, which effectively inspects a data set. I'll show you what it does here. So it's just some Python that is effectively the MCP server. You build some Python, you run it, it sits there and waits to be called. You can specify the steps that it needs to undertake. All you need is an LLM and JSON to tie the two together. And again, that could be a cloud-based LLM, or it could be my little Quen algorithm that I'm using here on my local PC. And you'll see in the demo, you run it through, it looks at a data set, it makes some analysis, it looks for data cleaning options, and it recommends the kinds of analysis that you can do. Right the way through from obviously the standard profiling, tabulating, through to more sophisticated statistical analysis, driver analysis, segmentations, and so on and so forth. MCPs.
Here's a contentious topic. I don't know if it is contentious. European software services, as opposed to other software services, issue of sovereignty, which is why we keep hold of our own data and others don't get it. And proof of point, there's so many European contenders to what we've traditionally been using. So you'll get the slides. I mean, this wheel is hard to see, but it's missing out. So there's no Hetzner here, which is really annoying amongst the cloud servers. But there are some really, really nice alternatives which we can rely on. Do check out these links here. They have put in a lot of effort to identify quality alternatives to the big corporates, trillionaire individuals. So anyway, AWS, I love Hetzner. Hetzner's a German company. There's a Finnish company called UpCloud as well. They're both great. Microsoft 365. But La Suite, we got a French one. La Suite Numérique. I mean, let's see where that goes. I think it's underpinned by Django, which is a Python package, which I love. GitHub, we have Codeberg, and this is an up-and-coming one, Codeberg, which is becoming popular in the open source community. Yeah.
Okay, so we were thinking bigger with this idea, so which way are we going to go? So votes are coming in. This is a bit closer. We may have to go to the online poll to see who goes through. Do you think it's red? Hang on, you're red. I think it's red. Let's go red.
Hey.
Oh.
Richard.
We're going red. Okay. Final round, all to play for.
Right. Okay, we all know the dark side of fraud in surveys, what it's costing the industry, both in terms of cash and reputation. And there's obviously a lot of platforms out there that are trying to address that. This is a relatively simple and elegant way, I would say, of validating respondents, especially when we've got product testing involved. If there's a way we can get them to take a picture of a product to validate that they are indeed customers and users of that product or platform. This is an example, it's a real life example from a study that was done with Cobalt Sky. Thanks for Cobalt Sky for sharing this with us, that was done for Netflix. So the respondents asked to upload evidence that they are a subscribed Netflix user. So this is a good example, obviously, because it is Netflix. They upload the example, behind the scenes the AI does its magic, and this gets validated, and we get the validation reasons. It's all very transparent. Something gets accepted or rejected with a bit of verbiage to explain why this was a pass case. This, on the other hand, is not Netflix, and it's not accepted, and that's because it's Prime, and the AI, of course, can detect that it's Prime. There's no sign of Netflix there, so it gives the reasons, and it gives the verbiage to explain why it's rejected. Thank you.
I think it can detect the shine as well. Is that right, of photographs? So
Yeah, it looks to see whether there's a shine on the TV screen.
so it's really, yeah.
I'm saying photographs of Netflix screens.
So computer science, computer vision in surveys. This is a related idea, and things have really exploded the last 5 or 6 years in terms of what you can do with computer vision. I mean, you can ask the client to use their phone, maybe in situ, maybe walking around the supermarket or scanning receipts, and to find out exactly what's going on, what's in their vicinity. And MediaPipe is a really good resource from Google, which I think there's a video here, which in your browser can do computer vision really quite accurately. So here's doing a face. Faces are a bit boring, but then we can also do aspects of the face, eyes and mouth as well. And scientists are trying to track emotion, for example, through mouth shape. You can do limb position, hands, and you can also do it at various depths as well. And this is purely within the browser, this one. Now imagine there's so much opportunity here for exploring. So here's another person exploring why computer vision might be useful. They started doing eye tracking in the browser. It's not terrific, but it's better than it's usable. And if you know that there's indeed a human behind this webcam in front of you looking at the correct locations, that in itself is a useful tool. But there's all sorts of other things you can use computer vision for as well. Be it even engagements. Are they actually paying attention, or are they more so paying attention to the Netflix on the screen in front of them? That's the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is the decider. Make sure you judge carefully of who is going to be the winner. Ooh, it's going to be close.
Rock, paper, scissors?
I think it's blue. I think it's blue.
Yeah, well, that's good fun. That's good fun.
So congratulations. So it's a bit weird that you made your own award.
Oh, it's
And it only fits your head.
to give a bit of context, it's made out of what's it called? There's a cornstarch, and it's biodegradable, and so yeah, that will go in the recycling bin. So,
So in all seriousness, the purpose of this session really was to explore as many ideas and share as many ideas as we could with you in a short amount of time. So this is the one for you to take photos of. So these are all the different ideas, and kind of like do you say Google search term anymore, or do you say ChatGPT search term? I don't know, but there's the things to look up. So hopefully there's at least one on there which you'll find interesting and give you something to do when you get back to the office on Friday. Thank you very much, everyone.